In our new original, we cover something that should be of interest to many of you. Now that the pandemic-related movie slowdown has already eased in 2022, many exciting blockbusters are waiting to be released in the coming year. Well, it's time to give you an overview. We hope you enjoy our original video for the most anticipated blockbusters of 2023. The third and final installment of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise can be expected in May. With James Gunn now in charge as CEO of the new DC studios, this will certainly be his last MCU movie for a long time. Some time has now passed since the second part. Strictly speaking, it will be more than 6 years by the time the new movie is released. As a result, the predecessor takes place before Infinity Wars, in a completely different time than the MCU's Phase 4, which is now coming to an end. Not much is known about the exact plot yet. We only know that the film will be set after the end of the month's holiday special, and that it will be the final film featuring the Guardians we are familiar with. This at least suggests that the movie will end with a bang, and surely some of our favorite characters will be heroically kicking the bucket. Once again, the script was written by Guardians creator James Gunn, who will also be directing the film. In addition to the returning cast of Dave Bautista as Drax, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Vin Diesel as Groot, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket, there will also be a number of exciting newcomers. For instance, Will Poulter will make his debut as Adam Warlock, while the Suicide Squad star Daniela Melchior has also been cast in an as-yet-unknown role, along with Maria Bakalova as the voice of Cosmo the Space Dog. On May 5th, 2023, it will finally be time to see many of the old and new stars of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in their roles for the very last time. The third part of the Creed movie series will be released on March 3rd, 2023. We will once again see actor Michael B. Jordan in the leading role, as well as for the first time in his film career as a director. In terms of plot, the movie picks up where the previous one ended. In the second part, main character Adonis defeated his rival Victor Drago and can now be at peace. Back then, Victor's father Ivan killed Adonis' father Apollo. These events were already shown in Rocky IV in 1985. So things turn out well for the main character, for the time being. There's even a happy ending for Sylvester Stallone's Rocky. So what else could be told in the third part? According to an official synopsis, Adonis Creed is at the peak of his career and his family life is also expanding. However, the focus of the plot is on another matter. After many years, Adonis reunites with his childhood friend Damien, who was then considered a boxing prodigy and has spent several years in prison in the meantime. Having nothing to lose, he wants to fight his former friend Adonis in the ring to prove it to everyone. So again, things get very personal in Creed 3. In addition to Michael B. Jordan, we see Jonathan Majors as Damien, Tessa Thompson as Bianca Taylor, and Wood Harris as Tony Evers Jr., who was the boxing coach of Apollo and Rocky at the time. We are excited for more news before release and look forward to watching the film in movie theaters on March 3rd, 2023. In February, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania will be running in theaters. Not only is the film the third in the Ant-Man line, it's also the very first film from Phase 5 of the MCU. Scott Lang, the main character, made his last appearance together with his girlfriend Hope Van Dyne in the victory against Thanos at the end of Avengers Endgame. An important element of the new film will be Scott's daughter, Cassie. She has built a satellite that can transmit messages into the quantum realm. Later on, the whole family finds itself inside the tiny world and meets Kang the Conqueror, who makes his debut in the MCU films as a new supervillain. The cast includes Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Evangeline Lilly as Wasp, and Jonathan Majors as Kang, who was previously teased in the Loki series. The director is again Peyton Reed, who has already directed the 2 previous movies. On February 17th, the time will finally come for you to watch Ant-Man 3 in theaters. Denis Villeneuve's sequel to 2021's Dune will be released at the end of 2023. After the previous movie was released under the premise that it would be released in theaters and on HBO Max at once, this time will almost certainly be a pure theatrical release. Returning cast members include Timothée Chalamet as main character Paul Atreides, Zendaya as Chani, Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, and Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen. Big new additions to the cast include Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan, and Christopher Walken, who will play the fearsome Emperor Shaddam IV. The movie will continue to tell Paul's story, focusing on his new life among the Freemen. In addition, he must avenge his family and take on Baron Harkonnen while still reconciling his love for Chani. The movie is based on Frank Herbert's novel series Dune. However, it is hard to tell how much of the book's storyline director Denis Villeneuve will incorporate into the finished film. Dune Part 2 will be released in cinemas on November 3rd, 2023. The Oscar-winning animation hit Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will get its long-awaited sequel next summer. As has been known for some time, main characters Miles Morales will receive even more active support than in the first movie. Just recently, for example, it became known that Spidey actor Tom Holland will make an appearance in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Joining the cast as well is Yuri Lowenthal, who dubbed Spider-Man in the PlayStation game. Likewise, it has been confirmed that Nope actor Daniel Kaluuya will play the role of Spider-Punk, who is comparatively new in the comic book universe. In addition to Shameik Moore, who will dub Morales, returning characters include Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099 and Haley Steinfeld as Spider-Gwen. The new villain will be Jonathan Owen, aka Spot, voiced by the Grand Budapest Hotel actor Jason Schwartzman, who is sure to give the many Spider-Men and Spider-Women a run for their money. We are excited to see what director Joaquim Dos Santos will come up with and look forward to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which will be released on June 2nd, 2023. The world's most famous movie archaeologist will soon be making his comeback after 15 years. Harrison Ford, now 80, will use his whip and put on his hat for the very last time as Indiana Jones. We can therefore look forward to a grand finale to the movie series. The plot revolves around Indy going back in time, to be exact, to New York in the year 1969. There he has to deal with Nazis once again, which presumably have their hands in the iconic moon landing program. Mads Mikkelsen will play the main antagonist of the movie, a character named Valor. We are pretty intrigued for the film's release on June 30th, 2023. In mid-March, we will see the release of Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the sequel to 2019's Shazam, which was received positively by viewers overall. After we were already introduced to the protagonist, Billy Batson, and his life as a teenager in Philadelphia in the first part, the story of him and his superhero alter ego, Shazam, will soon be told further. Now, his siblings also have magic powers and are able to actively support their brother Billy in his fight against evil forces. However, before they can compete against the Anger Daughters of Atlas, they must first learn how to use their new powers responsibly. So far, not much else is revealed. We do know, however, that director David F. Sandberg is back, and that the script was again written by Henry Gayden. On the side of the cast, Zachary Levi gets to shine anew as Shazam. Asher Angel plays Billy Batson once again, and we of course also get to see his siblings in an unchanged cast. The three daughters of Atlas, who are furious about the siblings' magical powers, are embodied by the audience star Helen Mirren, Kill Bill Volume 1 actress Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler, known from West Side Story. Shazam! Fury of the Gods will be released on March 17th, 2023. John Wick Chapter 4 cannot be missing in our preview, of course, as we already know from synopses. This time, the protagonist is going to deal with the High Table. At the end of the previous movie, we see how Wick is betrayed by his confidant, Winston, and almost dies. Thus, John Wick's story should carry on more or less uninterrupted, only this time his opponents are even more powerful and thus way more dangerous. In the first trailer, you can already take a look at the new footage. In addition to John Wick, the cast includes Hiroyuki Sanada as Shimatsu, Lawrence Fishburne as the Bowery King, Ian McShane as Winston, Bill Skarsgård as Marquis, and Donnie Yen as Kane. Akira actress Rina Sawayama will probably also play a big role. However, it is not clear yet who exactly her character is and what her relationship with John Wick will be. By the way, this time the script was not written by Derek Kolstad, but by Army of the Dead author Shay Hatton and Predators author Michael Finch. We are eager to see how the story of Baba Yaga continues and look forward to the theatrical release on March 24th, 2023. A few weeks ago, the first trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie was released. Surprisingly, the first look at the main characters was very well received. Only a few visual details on Mario, and partly the dubbing, were somewhat criticized. Nevertheless, the trailer demonstrated that the movie adaptation of the world's most famous plumber, which has been in production since 2018, is on the right track and ready for a cinema release. Joining the team are Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Jack Black as Bowser, who is already considered a secret favorite based on his appearance in the trailer. Also joining the film are Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, as well as Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. There's also a pleasant surprise to look forward to. Voice actor Charles Martinet, who has been known for the iconic voice of Mario for years, will be heard in one or more cameos. In terms of plot, the movie will revolve around the well-known narrative. Mario and Luigi must join forces to free Princess Peach from the clutches of Bowser. An interesting aspect will be the introduction of the Kong family into the story, which could mean that Donkey Kong Island might even be added to the plot as a setting. The director of Super Mario Bros. Is Aaron Horvath, who is still rather inexperienced in the film business, and Batman the Brave and the Bold creator Michael Jelenic. Minions: The Rise of Gru writer Matthew Fogel penned the screenplay. The Super Mario Bros. Movie will be released in theaters on April 7th, 2023. In March, after a flop in the year 2000, the second attempt to bring the pen-and-paper role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons to the big screen will be made. An adaptation is considered rather difficult, since those responsible have an enormous role-playing game as their model, which is very individual depending on the game and doesn't tell a consistent story as in a comic or a book. However, this also gives the directors and screenwriters, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, a great deal of artistic freedom. As filming has already been concluded since the summer of 2021, there is already a first trailer showing the stars in action for the first time. The cast includes Chris Pine as the Bard, Michelle Rodriguez as a barbarian, Hugh Grant as the villain, and Regé-Jean Page as a paladin. The storyline revolves around a gang of thieves, with the Bard as their leader, who embark on an epic quest. As director Goldstein already announced in 2020, the movie will be quite funny and humorous. While it's not a pure comedy, it's an action fantasy film with comedic elements. In any case, it will be exciting to see what the responsible parties have adapted from the role-playing game. The trailer already offers us some initial insights, including the popular dragons as fearsome opponents. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves will be out in theaters on March 31st, 2023. Barely any other film series is as renowned for its well-done action and daring stunts as Mission Impossible. Next year marks the release of the now 7th installment, which is being produced back-to-back with Part 8. Of course, Tom Cruise will once again star as Ethan Hunt, and he will be joined by Simon Pegg as Benji, Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa, and Vanessa Kirby as Alana, to name but a few. Henry Czerny's Eugene Kittredge is also back in his role after many years. As for the plot, hardly any information is available yet. At least there's already been a first trailer and plenty of reports about the stunts, which are more or less characteristic of the film series. The main attraction is a motorcycle stunt at a dizzying height, which is said to be Tom Cruise's most dangerous stunt to date. The director of the film is again a familiar face, namely Christopher McQuarrie. He has a long history of working with Tom Cruise and, for example, also directed the most successful film in the series to date, Mission Impossible: Fallout. We are thus looking forward to tried and tested quality for the theatrical release of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 on July 14th, 2023. Just a few days before the end of 2023, we can finally enjoy Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The predecessor set the bar very high and is regarded as DC's most successful film, with box office takings of almost $1.15 billion. The plot naturally revolves around Arthur Curry, who reluctantly took over as the King of Atlantis in the first part, and as a result triggered a massive spectacle. Exactly where things are headed from there is not entirely clear, but it will probably become more and more gloomy, as director James Wan has confirmed several times in the past. In addition to Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Amber Heard as Mera, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II will again embody the villain Black Manta. The latter is still out for revenge against Aquaman and will try everything in his power to make the superhero's life a living hell. A first look at Aquaman's new suit can already be found on Momoa's Instagram account, where, by the way, he can also be seen together with Ben Affleck, who after many years makes a comeback as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. It promises to be exciting to find out whether the film lives up to its high expectations. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will be released in cinemas on December 25th, 2023. Hardly any other DC production has caused as much of a commotion as The Flash. The reason for this is lead actor Ezra Miller, who's been involved in one scandal after the other and may even have to serve a prison sentence soon on account of a burglary. After the 30-year-old Miller has expressed remorse in recent weeks, Warner Brothers has decided to back him and to release the film in theaters, provided that nothing else comes up. In terms of plot, main character Barry Allen, aka The Flash, travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which in turn affects his own timeline and causes major chaos. Michael Keaton's appearance as Batman, which has long been confirmed, will no doubt be one of the highlights of the upcoming film. Time will tell what the movie and its events mean for the DCEU moving forward. Either way, we should be eager to find out whether post-production will go smoothly from here on. The Flash is expected to hit theaters on June 23rd, 2023. One film that promises an action-packed movie summer is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. The franchise's 7th feature is the responsible party's big hope of getting the franchise back on track and finally putting an end to the many years of poor box office performance. A first step in this direction was made with Bumblebee in 2018, as not only was the film well received, but it also managed to gain a foothold alongside the main series. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts is supposed to be set in the 1990s and follow Hasbro's Beast Wars storyline. Basically, there are 3 opposing sides: the Autobots, the Terrorcons, and the Maximals. The main antagonists in the upcoming movie will be the Terrorcons, although their exact involvement in the story is not yet clear. A definite highlight is the return of Optimus Prime, who is a fan favorite and the figurehead of the movie series. He will once again be voiced by Peter Cullen, which has been met with a very positive response among fans. On the human side, we get to see Anthony Ramos as ex-military Noah and Dominique Fishback as scientist Elena. On the Maximal side, there are also some familiar names, such as Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal and Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor. This time, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts is not directed by Michael Bay, but by Creed II director Stephen Caple Jr. We are excited for the first trailer. The 7th part of the Transformers franchise will be released on June 9th, 2023. In the second half of 2023, another movie from Phase 5 of the MCU awaits. We're talking about The Marvels, which unites Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan. The crossover movie is set after the events of WandaVision and Ms. Marvel. There, we were already able to observe Kamala and Carol in a post-credit scene as they confusingly swap places when using their superpowers. As screenwriter Bisha K. Ali already confirmed in an interview with Deadline, the origin of the mysterious connection between Carol, Kamala, and Monica will be revealed in the film. The emphasis will also be on the more human problems of the 3 superheroines. Brie Larson's character will become much more complex, and Monica will also have to find her peace because she believes Carol abandoned her mother back then. We can also look forward to an appearance by Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Moreover, it is considered certain that the upcoming MCU series Secret Invasion will have some sort of relation to the Marvels. Candyman director Nia DaCosta, who, by the way, is the youngest female director ever in the MCU, will be in charge of directing the film. The theatrical release of The Marvels is set for July 28th, 2023. Fans of action-packed car races and stunts that regularly defy the laws of physics can look forward to Fast and Furious 10 in mid-May. The 10th installment is very likely to be the penultimate film in the main series, before it is finally brought to a close with Fast and Furious 11 in the distant future. So far, the cast is impressive. All the great actors of recent years are sure to be involved, including Vin Diesel as Dom, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty, Tyrese Gibson as Roman, Ludacris as Tej, Sung Kang as Han, and many more. There's no lack of newcomers either. For example, we will get to see Jason Momoa as the new villain and the Suicide Squad actress Daniela Melchior in a still undisclosed role. There is one person who will stay out of the movies, however, and that's Dwayne Johnson. Apart from the fact that Johnson has plenty to do anyway, the dispute with Vin Diesel continues to weigh heavily on him, and so in the future, they'll be focusing more on the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off. Little is known about the plot of Fast and Furious 10, aka Fast X. However, that should certainly change soon, as the film is scheduled to hit theaters on May 19th, 2023. That was our original for the movie blockbusters we are most looking forward to in 2023. Are you excited about the 2023 movie year? And if so, which movie is already your big highlight? Feel free to let us know in the comments. If you want to be regularly updated on the movies mentioned and many more, we suggest you check out our weekly news format, in which we sum up the most important Hollywood news for you every week. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.